ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं श्रीपरमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरम्। हरे कृष्ण। मैं आप सबको श्री श्री कार्तिक पूर्णिमा की कथा में स्वागत करता हूँ। आज अत्यंत पवित्र तिथि है श्री श्री कार्तिक पूर्णिमा का। कहीं कहीं इसको देव दीपावली भी बताया जाता है और दक्षिण भारत में बहुत सारे जगहों में इसको त्रिपुरारी पूर्णिमा भी बोला जाता है। और वृंदावन में कार्तिक पूर्णिमा रास पूर्णिमा के नाम से विख्यात है, जिस दिन भगवान ने रास लीला करवाया था गोपियों के साथ। तो हमारे जीवन में भक्ति का जो प्रगति होता है, उस प्रगति हमारी आध्यात्मिक प्रयासों से होता है। किसी भी तरीके का प्रगति हो, कोई अगर if someone wants to improve his wealth, then he needs to actually endeavor, prayas. Without endeavor, there is no increment in career, in wealth, and even in health. My health, I'm trying to endeavor so that I can improve my health. And this Kartik month today marks the beginning of spiritual new year. We must understand that Kartik month is the end, or maybe Kartik Purnima is the beginning of our next spiritual year. The entire Kartik month, devotees, they do very nice vratas, begging for the blessings of Srimati Radharani, so that the next entire year, from the next month, that is Margasir, till next Kartik, they can do very nice devotional service. So this is the most significant day in the life of a devotee, in which we must pray to Shri Radha and Krishna, especially Srimati Radharani, for her blessings, so that we can go ahead in our spiritual life for the entire year very, very nicely. In Odisha, there is, in this Kartik Purnima, there is a very, very special festival which is not really spiritual, but I was actually thinking about it and how it has such spiritual significance. In Odisha today, in the early morning, all people, they get up, take bath, and they go. Even I had done that every year in this Kartik Purnima, getting up early in the morning, taking bath, and then you make small boats. Previously, people used to make boats out of banana bark. But nowadays there are handmade boats, boats made of paper, and very, very beautiful boats. Everyone will come near a pond or a river with their beautiful boats, colorful boats, and every boat will have one lamp. And then they will light the lamp, put the boat on the water, and then they will take the water. The significance of this ritual that happens every year in this day of Kartik Purnima is that previously, many years before, lot of merchants used to leave Odisha with all their gifts for trading and going to different islands like Indonesia, Java, Bali, Sumatra, and they used to sell their products that they have made in Odisha, and then they will come back with lot of wealth. And just to make a memory, as a memory of the glorious ancient culture and business that used to happen in Odisha on this same day of Kartik Purnima, they used to send all these boats. But I was thinking today that how much this festival or whatever it is done has such serious spiritual significance in our lives. This entire world is actually ocean, Bhava Sindhu. And Srimad Bhagavatam says that how this boat is compared to human form of life. This human form of life is a boat on this dangerous ocean of Bhava Sindhu, Bhava Sagar, of birth, old age, disease and death. And so much of miseries, adhyatmic, adhibhautik, miseries from our one's own mind, body. And this boat of human form of life. And all, just like all these merchants, they have endeavored so much. With all their endeavors, they are taking their products to sell. A devotee should understand that whatever in Kartik we have got the credits of blessings of Srimati Radharani, all those blessings, through all the empowerment of the blessings of this entire month of Kartik Brat from Srimati Radharani, one should do the endeavor of the real business of human form of life on the boat of human form of life. The real business of the human form of life is to earn back the lost wealth of Krishna Prem, love for Krishna. Without love for Krishna, our life and ourselves, we are completely bankrupt and poverty stricken. And I was just thinking, this simple festival in Odisha that happens in Kartik Purnima is so much, very much significant in our lives, because we are also trying to do business. We want wealth, not gold, not silver, not diamond, not navaratnas, not dollars, but we want the wealth of Krishna Prem. And with all the blessings of Srimati Radharani earned in the month of Kartik, we must, on this day of Kartik Purnima, sell the boat of our human form of life in trying to do and endeavor and plan for the real business of this human form of life. That is to earn the real wealth of Krishna Prem, or the love for Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was speaking the Sikshtastakam verses to Swarup Damodar Goswami in the Gambhira in Odisha, in Puri, he speaks that without love for Krishna, one is bankrupt, bankrupt in one's heart. And it's very interesting. Mother Teresa and many great saints have spoken this time and again, that it is sometimes very easy to tolerate the poverty of life, but it is very, very difficult to tolerate the poverty of heart. Hriday ki garibi. The heart needs love. The heart needs someone to love. And the heart needs someone to receive love. And to be poverty stricken and bankrupt means we do not have anyone to receive love from, and we do not have anyone to give love. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that if the heart is not having opportunity or desire or aspiration to love Krishna, or doesn't have the capacity to receive the love for Krishna, Lord Chaitanya says that he is a bankrupt person. And we have seen, forget about love for Krishna, people are billionaires and trillionaires and in the want of love. They're just bankrupt. Recently someone shared with me a WhatsApp post of a YouTube link of a video of the most photographed lady currently on earth. This lady has 45 million Instagram followers. I don't have an Instagram account. I don't know. I have never used Instagram. I don't even know how the Instagram looks. And even if I make, no one is going to come and see a bald headed person and very black and skinny, and no one is going to. I may not get a single like, or I may get dislikes 45 million. But just imagine 45 million Instagram follows and likes. And recently, just last week, this lady, the most photographed lady on the entire Earth planet, shared an Instagram video which will be watched by 45 million people. That means 45 million into 1 million is 10 lakhs, 45 into 450 lakhs, that means 4.5, 450 lakhs people. She sends a YouTube or Instagram video in which, and a lot of photographs in which she's crying bitterly, bitterly crying, and her eyes are bulged out and it's completely red, and she puts in the post that this is me last 8 years of my personal life, and I have been suffering terribly from clinical depression, crying bitterly in loneliness for last 8 years. And this is the most photographed lady on Earth planet currently. This is how much the heart is hankering for love. No amount of glamour, no amount of success in career, no amount of big bungalows and wonderful sleek cars can actually satisfy the heart. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says the only way the heart can be satisfied is when the heart is wealthy with love for Krishna. And that's real wealth. Wealth or artha, according to Vedic civilization, artha is one which can translate into karma or happiness. Dharma creates artha. When one lives a life of right principles, then one gets prosperity or artha. And real prosperity is that which creates or brings forth happiness. And we see in modern times people are so much in illusion that they are prosperous, they are progressing. If they are really progressing and if they have really artha, then why they are unhappy? Why they are miserable? Real artha is the artha of heart, the wealth of heart, the wealth to receive love and the wealth to have someone to give and share love. And one can only do that when one's heart is filled with love for Krishna. And that's why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu quotes in his Sistastakam prayers that if someone doesn't have love for Krishna, then he is bankrupt. And he prays to Krishna, "Oh Krishna, please make me your servant and give me the salary of wealth for Krishna, for me, for wealth for yourself at your lotus feet as a remuneration, as a salary." Krishna prema bina vyartha daridra jivan dasa kari betan more deo prema dhan. Krishna prema bina vyartha daridra jivan. Krishna prema bina vyartha daridra jivan. Vyartha, it's useless. And we see so much in modern times that so much of wealth people are having, but it is useless because it is not being, they are not able to translate that much of wealth into happiness. Because the heart is simply longing for receiving Krishna's love. Who is experiencing the happiness? Is the soul. And the soul can only be happy with the super soul, Sri Krishna. So in this Kartik Purnima in Odisha, people make all these boats and they float in the river, in the pond, everywhere, remembering that, oh, our ancestors have gone for doing big business. Similarly, we must remember that our ancestors, our acharyas, Srila Prabhupada, and all the great acharyas and great saints have actually utilized this human form of life to cross over this great ocean of Bhava Sindhu and earned wonderful wealth of Krishna Prem in their lives. And that's the spiritual significance of celebration of Kartik Purnima, where we are begging blessings from Srimati Radharani. Oh Radharani, if you are really merciful, please be merciful. You are really merciful. Please, please give me blessings that in the next coming year, from the month of Margasir to the month of next Kartik, let me seriously endeavor to do the real business in the boat of this human form of life while I am sailing across this horrible, terrible ocean of material existence. And interestingly, every year I used to, before this Kartik Purnima, I used to purchase boats. And it was really nice. It was so colorful boats. And my father used to tell we should purchase small boats, there will be pollution and all these things. But I always wanted a big boat. And in the boat, I wanted a system where there will be, the diya should burn and then the boat will float with the diya. And it's very, very significant that diya that is burning within the boat is the diya of our eagerness to serve Krishna. That actually keeps us going, keeps our bhakti going in this world of miseries, Bhava Sindhu. So I was thinking that how childish I was to send all the boats, and how this festival has such deep spiritual meaning and significance, and how merciful are the acharyas by whose blessings I can understand the deep significance behind this festival, where all people are assembling to send boats, understanding and remembering the great value of human form of life and how valuable is this eagerness, this lamp to continue on the next 1 year of devotional service. We must understand that when Krishna sees a drop of eagerness within our heart, within our lives, See, he sends so much of causeless mercy, and especially when Krishna sees a little bit of eagerness, he sends the right sadhus and saints in our lives. And though Krishna himself came as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Kali Yuga, but he established 4 sampradayas to actually spread devotion at his lotus feet. And today on this Kartik Purnima, an extremely illustrious person, Acharya, was born. Not far, when we go to Mayapur, we can see this place. Actually, when we go to Mayapur, we just go for one day and all devotees see the ISKCON and Rajapur and come back. But sometimes we will plan a big Mayapur Yatra, little longer, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days. And there are so many places in Mayapur. It's really, really very, very mysterious place. We actually go to one dweep of Navadweep, that is, our ISKCON temple is there in Rudradweep. But actually, Mayapur is extremely mysterious. There are 9 islands and many, many great souls have come to Mayapur, mentioned in various scriptures about Navadweep. And we should feel ourselves so fortunate that we are so close to such a mysterious spiritual place. And one such place that is mentioned in Sanat Samhita and many other places, and which Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur mentions in Navadvip Mahatmya, is Bel Pukur. Many, many years before, almost like in 11th century, this Bel Pukur was known as Bilwa Paksha Gram. In South India, near the banks of Godavari, lived one very, very pure-hearted ascetic of the name Aruna Muni. And this Aruna Muni and his beautiful, chaste, wonderful wife both had an illustrious son whose name was Niyamaditya. Niyamaditya was extremely glorious. From childhood, he had such devotion to Krishna, to Lord Shiva. He had such inclination for spirituality. Seeing his great inclination, his father Aruna Muni sent him to Guru's ashram. And one time, with all the brahmanas of his ashram, they had a trip, just like we also have in our ISKCON Brahmachari ashram, Brahmachari Yatra, or to some places. And they all came from the banks of Godavari to this place, which was previously known as Bilwa Paksha, and was very, very famous for the worship of Lord Shiva in Navadvip Dham. And this Bilwa Paksha Gram, they took lot of bale leaves. That's how the village came, has got its name, that Bilwa Paksha. That lot of bale trees are there. Now also a lot of bale trees. And this beautiful shrine of Lord Shiva, and all these brahmanas, they were offering leaves, bale patra, and so much of bale patra, and they are doing their puja. They are doing this puja, and along with Niyamaditya. And then Niyamaditya was meditating, and in his meditation Lord Shiva personally appeared and said that the four Kumaras have received the mercy of Narayan and they want to bless you so that you can share the mercy and compassion of Lord Narayan and Krishna in the entire world. I instruct you that you go nearby and find out these four Kumaras who are waiting for you to give their divine darshan and instructions. Please go immediately. And just imagine, imagine you are sitting in some temple and you are closing your eyes, and in trance you get such instruction directly from Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is Mahadev. He is the main person in this entire universe. Who can neglect his instruction? And this Niyamaditya got up and started frantically searching. Where are these four Kumaras? Where are these four Kumaras? And he was searching in the entire village of Bilva Paksha. And he was searching. And finally, he was completely exhausted and he sat under a banyan tree. That I am not able to fulfill the instructions of my master Lord Shiva. How unfortunate I am. And while he was exhausted and sitting under the banyan tree and praying to Lord Shiva, he could get the divine darshan of the four Kumaras under this banyan tree. And he put Dandavat obeisances to these four Kumaras and started praying, fervently praying for their mercy. But the four Kumaras were just in meditation. They were not looking at him. And he was wondering, how do I take them out of meditation? And he was very, very afraid, because he knows that rishis and munis, and if they are disturbed, they can curse. But Lord Shiva has said that to receive the instruction from these four Kumaras, and he was like, and in his great bewilderment, he started chanting Radha Krishna. And when he started chanting Radha Krishna, then all the four Kumaras, they opened the eyes and they smiled. And out of these four Kumaras, Sanat Kumar, he called Niyamaditya and put his lotus feet on the head of Niyamaditya and blessed Niyamaditya and said, Niyamaditya, we want to initiate you in the mantra of Radha Krishna. And you go immediately and take bath in the Ganges and come back. And then Niyamaditya runs to the Ganges, takes bath and comes back, and in his right ear, Sanat Kumar and all the four Kumaras gave him the initiation and the Harinam mantra, Harinam Diksha, and blessed him to become an Acharya in the Sampradaya of Kumaras. And from Niyamaditya, he became Niyamaditya Acharya. And they gave him various instructions about the philosophy, about the methodology of worship of Radha Krishna, and instructed Niyamaditya to chant this mantra. And they've disappeared. And Niyamaditya gets this mantra and he he falls again at the same place, starts crying and starts chanting this mantra, Radha Krishna mantra. And while Niyamaditya was chanting this mantra, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu appears and gives him his divine darshan. And Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu instructs Niyamaditya that go to Vrindavan and stay near Govardhan. I will appear myself in this very same place and I will propagate the Harinam Sankirtan, which is the Yuga Dharma for this age of Kali. Go to Vrindavan and preach about Nam Sankirtan. And please don't reveal the secret of my appearance to anyone. My all blessings are with you. Hearing the instructions of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, and Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu split it into Radha Krishna and again combined as Gauranga, and seeing that he started chanting Radhe Krishna. So getting blessings of Lord Shiva, getting blessings of the four Kumaras, and getting blessings, direct blessings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Niyamaditya travels to Nimbagram, a small village near Govardhan in Vrindavan, and makes his base of preaching the divine message of love for Radha Krishna there. One day, while Niyamaditya used to give various classes, one day one sadhu came. He was following the faith of Jainism. He was a Jain sadhu. But somehow or other Srimad Bhagavatam claims that how this faith of Jains is actually a more or less deviation from Rishabh Dev, whom Jains claim as the first Tirthankar. And Sukadev Goswami in Srimad Bhagavatam mentions that how a king wrongly imitated the activities of Lord Rishabdev in a completely wrong way and created this so-called Jain religion. And Sukadev Goswami mentions to Parikshit Maharaj that this Jain religion, though it is coming from the same Lord Rishabdev, and the Jains consider Lord Rishabdev as their first Tirthankar, but they consider the Guru as everything, and they have no conception about God, the supremacy of God and spiritual world, and the goal of life of going back to spiritual world. Their focus is to get only detached from material world, but they really don't know what we will do after getting detached from the material world. Being incomplete, Sukadev Goswami says this Jain religion is a deviant started by the king who wrongly imitated Lord Rishabdev. So one such Jain sadhu came to the ashram of Niyamaditya. And Niyamaditya explained to him how, from Srimad Bhagavatam, from all places, how this he needs to chant Radha Krishna, which is the Yuga Dharma of Kali Yuga. Even today also happens, today or yesterday, I don't remember, the birthday of, the appearance day of Guru Nanak Ji. And Guru Nanak himself said that the only religion in Kali Yuga is chanting of Lord Ram's name, chanting of Hari's name, chanting of Krishna's name. All the bona fide saints of India, all the bona fide religions claim and understand that the only goal, the only dharma for Kali Yuga is the chanting of Lord's names. And explaining from various scriptures, he started trying to convince this Jain sadhu that please chant Krishna's names. This is the dharma for this age of Kali. And this Jain sadhu was not at all ready to get convinced. With all scriptural references from Srimad Bhagavatam, from various Puranas, from the Vedas, this Jain sadhu was not ready at all. And finally, Niyamaditya Acharya, he thought that I am a failure. I just, Lord Chaitanya instructed me, Lord Shiva instructed me, the four Kumaras instructed me to help everyone get convinced about chanting of the holy names of Radha and Krishna, and I'm a failure. At least let me offer, he's a guest, he's a sannyasi, he's a renunciate in my ashram, he's my guest, at least offer him some prasadam. And maybe by honoring Krishna prasadam, his heart will get transformed and he will understand the goal of life. And thinking like this, but the discussion was started in the morning and it went till evening. And Jain sadhus, once it becomes sunset, they don't take anything. And Niyamaditya was feeling so much bad that, I am not able to offer him anything, and he requested, please at least take honor this prasadam of Krishna. And he was telling, no, it's sunset, I cannot take. And Niyamaditya's ashram was under a nimpa tree, under a neem tree. And the entire discussion was happening under a neem tree. And he had already instructed his disciples to cook very wonderful Krishna prasadam, which is already ready, about to get served. And this Jain sadhu was not ready to take prasadam, and he was feeling bad that I am not able to serve the atithi. And Niyamaditya said, oh, you will only take prasadam of food in daytime? Let me create daytime. And then, to the great shock, amusement, wonder of this Jain sadhu, sun appeared between the two branches of the neem tree where Niyamaditya was sitting. And this Jain sadhu, he forgot all Jainism. He forgot everything. The sun was so bright that it enlightened his heart of all the right conclusions of scriptures. And he fell at the feet of Niyamaditya and begged forgiveness. And he started crying. He said, I just can't imagine. It's a miracle. And Niyamaditya said, real miracle is in chanting of Krishna's holy name. Sun actually enlightens the darkness of this world, which can be done by putting some light or putting some lamp. But it is only the sun of Krishna's holy name that can enlighten the darkness of the heart, which is dark with all these 6 vices of Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Mada and Matsarya. There is no power, no sun, no light, no lamp that can do that except the light of Krishna's holy name. And this giant sadhu, folding the hands, he begged to receive Krishna's holy name from Niyamaditya Acharya. And seeing such a miracle, the entire Vaishnav society in Vrindavan, in Nimbagram, in all places, they gave Niyamaditya the new name Nimbarka Acharya. Arka means sun, who manifested sun from the neem tree, from the branches of neem tree, Nimbarka Acharya. And this very same Nimbarka Acharya became the Acharya for the Kumara Sampradaya and became the main propagator of the Kumara Sampradaya. But while Niyamaditya or Nimbarka Acharya was in Navadvip, when he heard that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to appear in this age of Kali, Lord Krishna, Radha Krishna, his worshipable deities are going to appear in this age, Lord Chaitanya. He prayed to Lord Chaitanya that I want to also come and I want to see your pastimes. You are already telling me to keep your appearance as secret, but please give me permission to see and witness your pastimes and become some instrument in some of the pastimes, some help, some service. And Lord Chaitanya revealed a wonderful secret to Niyamaditya and gave him a very, very wonderful service. If all of you give me permission, then I will definitely tell this story and tell loudly Hari Bol. If you tell me Hari Bol, then I will tell you how Lord Chaitanya gave Nimbarka Acharya the wonderful blessing of so many devotees are telling Hari Bol, Hari Bol. So blessings to assist and come and see his pastimes. Lord Chaitanya says, I will not tell Lord Chaitanya says because I will also try to create some suspense. Lord Chaitanya, he appeared in Navadvip, and Navadvip was the highest seat of learning, as we had already discussed in Navadvip Leela. It was the highest seat of learning during that time. And it was like the Nalanda University was already burnt and people were looking for where to study, and during those times actually Navadvip became very, 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 very famous in the 15th century or early 14th, late 14th century, 13th century, just after Nalanda University and all those things happened. As all of you know, the part of history, I had gone to Patna, nearby Nalanda University. It took 6 months for the entire university to burn. From 5th century to the 12th century, for 700 years it was the seat of learning. And then it gradually shifted to Navadvip. But Kashmir and Kashmiri Pandits were not happy about it. Because you see, just like we have IPL, where states and all these Bollywood actors and they are purchasing the players, and this is a like marriage. IPL is like marriage of Bollywood and Indian cricket. It's like that. And so much of fight between Calcutta and all this KKR and all this Mumbai and Chennai and all those, and so much of fun, and your favorite stars are also there, your favorite cricket stars are also there. So the Kashmiri Pandits, they were not at all happy about Navadvip Brahmanas, and they said that we do not accept Navadvip as the highest seat of learning. We are Kashmiri Pandits. And they appointed and really trained and groomed one of their child, and who was extremely intelligent, and they trained him to worship Mother Saraswati, and he became a great devotee of Mother Saraswati. And then they instructed him, go and claim the prestige of Kashmiri Pandits all over India. And this boy's name was Keshav. And because the Kashmiri Pandits had blessed him, and he wanted to show how he's from Kashmir, he wanted to really establish the prestige of Kashmir, he came to be known as Keshav Kashmiri. And this Keshav Kashmiri goes to South India, North India, all places, and with all the Bijay Patra, the news of his victory, he used to ensure that Navadvip receives all the news of his victory all over India. Imagine, he goes for a debate in North India and he wins there, the news goes to Navadvip that Keshav Kashmiri defeated XYZ scholar of North India. And then the Navadvip Pandits, oh, Keshav Kashmiri, he's defeated him also. Then he goes to South India, he defeats someone else and sends, oh, Keshav Kashmiri defeated him. And the news of Keshav Kashmiri's great intellect was spreading and creating terror in Navadvip before even Keshav Kashmiri could reach Navadvip. That was how Keshav Kashmiri created the terror. And then finally, Keshav Kashmiri actually used to travel in an elephant. He had so many Kashmiri Pandits chanting mantras for his glorification. And he had a Saraswati deity which he used to worship every day for getting empowerment to defeat everyone in debate. And then he reaches Navadvip. And when he reaches Navadvip, all the Navadvip Brahmins, the Pandits, the Bhattacharyas, the Chaturvedis, everyone, the Chakravartis, everyone just they start telling their wives, oh, I think I need to go somewhere else. And some people, they tell their wives, my stomach is paining. And some people, they tell their wives, I'm feeling very sleepy, my health is down. And everyone was instructed to just stay in home. But then Keshav Kashmiri has to debate with someone. And all the Brahmins, they said, this Nimai Pandit, he's just a 12-year-old boy. And let us tell this Keshav Kashmiri to debate with Nimai Pandit. And imagine Keshav Kashmiri, because all of us are sick. Though they are not sick, but they're sick. They're sick to fight with Keshav Kashmiri. And if Keshav Kashmiri defeats Nimai, we will say, oh, he came just to defeat a 12-year-old boy. Okay. And imagine Nimai Pandit defeats Keshav Kashmiri. Then we can say that if a 12-year-old boy of Navadvip defeats Keshav Kashmiri, what is the use in fighting with all of us? It's obvious, the answer is obvious that he will get defeated. And then they approach Nimai Pandit, and Nimai was really interested for a debate, because he wanted to also claim the greatest Pandit in India, Nimai. And then Nimai Pandit was doing his classes, and Keshav Kashmiri arrives on the bank of Ganges near a small grammar school which Nimai was taking classes. And Keshav Kashmiri was sitting on the elephant, and all Brahmanas chanting his glories. He comes down, and Nimai pays, out of great humility, pays his Dandavat. And Keshav Kashmiri says, let's have debate. And Nimai says, I'm a simple grammar teacher of a simple school with this small number of children. What debate I can do with such a great Brahmin like you? But if you really want to have some discussion, let's start praying to Mother Ganges, who is our mother. Could you please speak some verses on glorification of Mother Ganges? As soon as Keshav Kashmiri heard this, Keshav Kashmiri, in just 5 to 10 minutes, he composed 100 fresh verses in glorification of Mother Ganges. Just like Ganga was flowing from his mouth, the Ganga verses, 100 verses in just 10 minutes. And all the students of Nimai Pandit, they were like, oh. And then Nimai said, so wonderful. But your verses have some good things and have some bad things. And as soon as Keshav Kashmiri hears that my verses have some bad things, maybe this is the first time someone told Keshav Kashmiri that his verses and his composition has something bad. And Keshav Kashmiri shouted that my composition has nothing bad, and Nimai said, in the 64th verse of your composition, you have 5 bad things. And he explained. Keshav Kashmiri was wonderstruck. He was like dumbfounded. He said that, you are just a 12-year-old boy. I spoke in just 5 to 10 minutes these 100 verses. How did you remember all these verses? How did you quote them? And Nimai Pandit said, the same Supreme Lord who has blessed you with this intelligence to compose verses has also blessed me to remember them. And all the students of Nimai started clapping, Nimai, Nimai ki jai, Nimai Pandit ki jai, Nimai. And then Nimai made them quiet. And Keshav Kashmiri was so much putting his head down in shame and crying. Just imagine, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, for someone who is honored, dishonor is worse than death, to convince Arjuna to fight. Krishna says that if Arjuna was trying to become a sannyasi and Krishna was telling, you cannot be a sannyasi because you are a kshatriya and you want honor. And sannyasis, people disrespect sannyasis. Like so many people tell me, you are takla gaya. One time I was walking, and one lady along with her son was going, and the son was screaming, "Mummy, ye kaun hai?" And the lady said, which I could hear, "Ye bhoot hai, udhar mat dekho." And I was like, I'm a ghost. Ye bhoot hai. So sannyasis was like, dishonor is common for sannyasis, and no one respects someone who doesn't have any money in the pocket in this world. I don't have any bank account, forget about money. So Krishna says, Arjuna, don't take sannyas, you will be dishonored, and when you are dishonored, it's worse than death. Sometimes you may kill someone else because you are a kshatriya. So Keshav Kashmiri, what a respect he had gained all throughout India, and now here a 12-year-old boy defeating him, he goes back straight and prays, cries, begs, puts dandavat to Mother Saraswati for, why did you create such a shameful situation to me? I worshipped you and you blessed me that I will never be defeated. Why? And while crying and crying and crying, Keshav Kashmiri sleeps. And Mother Saraswati, in the dream of Keshav Kashmiri, tells that the person whom you debated today is my Lord also. How I can give blessings to someone to defeat the person who is the source of my knowledge also? The person whom you debated today is none other than Krishna. Go and surrender your entire life at his lotus feet. And that will please me, and that will create good fortune in your life. And when Keshav Kashmiri goes back, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes that Lord Chaitanya reveals his form and reminds him that the same Keshav Kashmiri actually is Nimbark Acharya. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Sanat Samhita, they all say that how Nimbark Acharya will incarnate further as a great scholar to assist in the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. Nimbark Acharya, upon his request to Lord Chaitanya blesses him to come as Keshav Kashmiri and assist and have a joking debate. And by defeating Keshav Kashmiri, Nimai Pandit became the soul. He made Nimbark Acharya come as Keshav Kashmiri, and because if Nimai Pandit has to become the greatest scholar, he had to also travel all over India and defeat, and it's a troublesome affair. So Lord Chaitanya, he gave this service to Nimbark Acharya to come as Keshav Kashmiri and defeat everyone. And finally Lord Chaitanya defeated Keshav Kashmiri to claim his position as the greatest scholar and Pandit of his time in entire earth. And why did Lord Chaitanya do that? Lord Chaitanya first became a powerful scholar, established him himself as a great scholar and Pandit. And then he became a devotee just to show the entire world that bhakti is Vedanta. Where knowledge ends, devotion to Krishna begins. The real goal and culmination and fulfillment of all knowledge of scriptures and everything is devotion and love for Krishna. And if we have all knowledge, all wealth, all glamour and career and grandeur and all prosperity in material terms, if there is no devotion in the heart, then we are simply bankrupt. This is the significance of Kartik Purnima. To reclaim our real wealth, to pray to Srimati Radharani and Krishna to help us become real businessmen of our real wealth of love for Krishna. Let us, on this auspicious day of Kartik Purnima, pray sincerely at the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani to give us strength to practice serious and sincere and attentive devotional service and chanting of holy names of the Lord throughout the year, the next year. Let us make this resolution of prayers in front of Srimati Radharani, that this month of Kartik, whatever blessings, whatever little bit of devotion I did, oh Srimati Radharani, please bless me with your choicest blessings and mercy so that I can perform devotional service and earn the real wealth of Krishna Prem. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Shri Shri Kartik Purnima Maha Mahotsav ki, Shri Shri Ras Purnima ki, Shri Shri Nimbarka Acharya की, तुलसी सालिग्राम विवाह की, श्री श्री कार्तिक व्रत की, श्री गौरांग महाप्रभु की, निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे।